Blessed be. The technicians. I'm very happy to be here this morning. I don't have one of those wires, so I have to speak to you one-handed. For those of us who speak with our hands a lot, that's hard. And I have to adapt to this thing. Life is different. So the title of my talk today is What I See, and it's in the midst of this year-long program about the changing earth and us changing with it, and how we have to be able to receive the information that comes into us and then work with that feedback. So one of the things that I'm recognizing is that I personally am very adaptable and very flexible in both mind and body. Now, that's a good thing to know. That's a good thing to know. So I can live with all of this stuff. And I used to think, because I have to wear oxygen, and my doctors tell me there's nothing wrong with me, there's no reason why I need oxygen, except that I can't breathe. That's the reason. I can't breathe without it. And so there's nothing they can do. So I've stopped waiting for the miracle cure. I am the miracle cure. Yeah? That's what's happening. So I'm looking out there, and you're all in my age group. Most of you are in my age group. A lot of you are in my age group. And it has to happen to you too. We can't get to these ages without learning to adapt. And I have recently had the opportunity to speak to two young men of my inner circle who are brilliant, lovely human beings. And because the conversations we had were significant enough that something I said made each of them cry, I think you need to hear it too. So these are my beloveds. They're about half my age. And sometimes I wish I was half my age, because that was just about 40. And the thing that we all know for sure who have passed that landmark is life begins at 40. You thought it was a cliche, but it's not. I didn't even know what I wanted to be when I grew up until I turned 50. Oh, I think I'm supposed to be a minister. And I set out on that program. So we're going to keep moving towards the things that we need, that we want to see in the world, the possibilities that exist. So here's how the conversation goes with my young men friends. They are distraught. They are anxious. And it has to do with being the inheritors of the old white men rule. Do you all understand what I just said? I'm seeing a lot of old white men nodding at me. Okay, I agree. It can't go on the way it is, because the world, no, not the world, the earth is a mess, and we have contributed to it, all of us. Now, it started quite a while ago, a very long time ago, cutting down forests to build whatever it is that we need to build as we move along. And it's still going on. To watch the previous administration start to unravel the EPA, to start to unravel oil drilling in the Arctic Circle, and start to unravel the things that we're trying to do to protect the planet. Not the world we live in, not the things that we do on the earth, but the earth itself must be protected. She can't go on like that. She's proving she can't go on like that, and she'll still be here, but we might not. we may wipe ourselves off the face of this planet. I don't think it'd be a bad idea if we don't change our ways. So, my friends are saying how distraught they are to be the inheritors of this, to be the next generation who has to figure it out, who has to try and fix the mess that it looks like we're living in around us. And that I don't know the anxiety that they're living through. And I said, hold on a sec. Yeah. I was born in 1948. I lived in the 50s. The 50s were a lovely era. There was not only plenty going on because we destroyed the world and dropped the atom bomb, but things are starting to build up. I lived in a neighborhood that was filled with kids. There was safety in numbers. There were a zillion of us. And everybody was your mother. Everybody in the neighborhood knew everybody in the neighborhood. And if you fell and scraped your knee in front of somebody's house, somebody's mom came out with a Bactine and a Band-Aid. We all got our needs met from community. It feels more and more isolated nowadays. And all of that is just fine. It's the way things are supposed to be. But I had a happy childhood. I had a very happy, raise your hand to those of you who are in that era and you go, I had a happy childhood. Are you over it yet? I tell you, it's taken me decades to get over having a happy childhood. I mean, my daddy taught me to take the training wheels off my two-wheel bike. I had roller skates that went on my saddle shoes and a key around my neck. All of you know what I'm talking about. So, but underneath it all, we also had civil defense drills and duck and cover exercises because the atom bomb had been unleashed on the planet. And that underlying anxiety is still there. Looking at Ukraine and Russia and how it has to be handled so that we don't draw the whole world into that kind of a disaster that the Second World War was, is having to walk a very tight line. How do we help Ukraine overcome a bully? How do we help children overcome bullying in schools nowadays? How do we all do those things? And what I see is nothing but hope. I look around here, this place, our little 0.9 acres of Center for Spiritual Living, and the backyard is becoming a Garden of Eden. Your yards are no doubt becoming a Garden of Eden. If you don't have a yard of your own, you got a few plants possibly withering in your windows. Tend to those. But I look at my beautiful young white men and young white women and young white people who have not figured out which one they want to be yet, and ones who have already changed their genders. It's not about gender. It's about the world needs this opened mind that says we're flexible, we're adaptable, we can change the planet. So I'm also looking at weather patterns. In North Dakota, Cheryl's family comes from North Dakota. They had blizzards in April. They never used to say, April blizzards bring May flowers. That's not an ordinary pattern. And I know too much trivia about too many things, really. And one of the things I know about is the Coriolis Effect. Raise your hand if you have any idea what I'm talking about. Oh, goody, 2 people. All right. The Coriolis effect is the fact that the planet spins causes winds along the equator, and they go in both directions, so that they're going out into the world in a way that affects the northern and the southern hemispheres. And last year or the year before, Australia burned up. The whole continent. It's a continent, for God's sake. The whole continent of Australia burned. How could that not affect the Coriolis effect that goes to the North Pole? How could that not affect weather patterns? It's huge. But we can change it 1 acre at a time. That's what I see. I see that the young people on this planet are putting their minds where they want to go. There's enough of every kind of person out there, so I'm not saying that those who are focused on money only aren't still out there. There has to be a way, and it involves independent brats. Independent brats. I'm pretty sure I qualify. And it means that people like AOC stand up for what they mean, stand up for what they want in the world, and they say it. And they don't care what your opinion is of them, because they have a truth to speak. And I want you to get your voices in good working order. Sing and chant here. It's important. It exercises your voice, your capacity to expand your lungs. Take a deep breath and be brave. Brave to speak truth to power. It's what we are intended to do, is to be, thank you so much. Stand up and be a brat. Stand up and be a brat on behalf of the planet, not just the people on it. And don't get me on my soapbox. My soapbox is there's a few too many people on the planet. You might want to stop having so many. Yeah, as soon as I start that one, there's going to be people going, but I have an opinion, and you're entitled to it. So that's the hope that I see so clearly is that I'm also involved with a whole lot of brats. Young brats with active minds whose lives are about to begin at 40. They're in their 30s now, and they've done all the fun stuff and all the stupid stuff and all that kind of stuff, and they're now at the place of going, oh my God, what do I want to be when I grow up? And they're stepping into their own power, into their own flexibility, into their own way of showing how to lead the world in a new direction. Not everybody wants to follow, because the number of people on the planet who want change and like change is probably 4, counting me. And it is inevitable. Change is inevitable. You can't go through your entire day without change of some effect. And some of it, big time effect in your life. Some things happen on an instant, which you can see it coming or not see it coming, and it's going to affect you. A death in the family, a pet. There are things that shift your life in ways that you couldn't imagine. And the part I love, and as a practitioner, I've had the opportunity to be able to tell this to some people when they come to me with all their life in disaster. This is what I do, because I am a brat. We sit down, we pray in, they tell me what's going on. Here's a story. This is a living story, I swear to you. I was at Agape. Somebody sends somebody down to see me as a practitioner. And the woman says, my father died 6 months ago, and my mother just died 2 months ago. My house burned to the ground, and I saw my car on television, the helicopter cameras. It's being chased. Someone had stolen her car, and it's being chased down the freeways of Los Angeles. That's exactly my reaction. I started laughing at her. She's looking for me to fix it and pray and everything, and I go, oh my God, nothing but your angels could move all of that crap out of your way at once. You have something so big to do that you could not do it attached to any of those other things. And it was like a whole new point of view. As soon as you look at the world with a 1-inch difference of perspective, your life can change for the better. When everything seems to be going wrong, that is the perfect time to consider what your new path is supposed to be. If everything just turned to compost, if everything just turned to compost, you're in luck. You need to plant a few new seeds. Thank you for getting back to our theme for the year. And everything will circle back, I assure you. Isn't it fun? Isn't it amazing? I have always been a Pollyanna, and I think I'm on the right path because I still lead a great life. I'm still having a happy life. Even though there's a whole lot of things I have to be flexible about, a whole lot of adaptations I have to make, and I think that I'm a lot of fun. And so I want to thank you. I love you all. Everyone who clapped, come see me. We're going to have tea. Yes, you want to come have tea parties a lot. I like to have conversations over a cup of tea, mainly because one of the things that got moved out of my life is alcohol. Come have a cup of tea. I'm very adaptable. I took up tea because there's a whole lot of ritual that goes with tea. There's a whole lot of ritual that goes with wine. You check the bottle, you check the label. What do I know about the terroir? You have a whole new vocabulary. You pull the cork, you smell the cork, you feel the cork. You you put it in the glass, you check the light, you smell, you go. In my case, I go. Things have changed. And the same thing's true of tea. So when I had to give up alcohol, I took up a whole new habit. I drink black tea, green tea, things with flavors in it. Come have tea. You must have tea. And I would love to have a conversation with a lot of you over tea and small foods. We'll sit around, eat. We'll sit around and make up stupid jokes about the way the world looks. And we'll have a lot of fun changing the earth itself. We must change the earth. We're going to change the earth. Plant a tree. Have yourself composted and have a tree planted in you. You're laughing, and you know we just did that. So I think that the world at large deserves us. It deserves people who know how to laugh when it looks like there's disasters, who know how to change their mind, their thinking, their perspective, so that when we need something new to guide our life, we can laugh at it. If it ain't funny, you're not at the end of the story yet. It's always a happy ending. If it's not a happy ending, you're not at the end yet. It's always a happy ending. So that's absolutely true. Thank you, Mavis. Yes. So I'm here to tell you that is a very an incredible truth, that I still live a happy life. I'm not going to put roller skates on the bottom of my feet. It's about bones by this age. But I can still have fun. I can still have fun. I'm inviting you to have fun with me. And that's my prayer for you today. Have some fun, because that's what I see. In spite of the anxiety underlying it, in spite of the fact that nuclear weapons are still proliferating, in spite of the fact that there are fires across the planet, if we change our thinking, the way we think about this, not only our lives, but the life of the planet will change with us. And that's the essence of what we're doing and what we're seeing. Yeah? You glad you got here this morning? I am. Let me unwind myself. And let me take you into prayer. So put your feet on the floor, because you are earthlings, and I want you grounded. And allow yourself to be aware that there's a planet underneath your feet. And allow yourselves to become aware that there is a universe surrounding it that is filled with diversity, with things we can't even imagine yet. It's filled with weird things like numbers. It's filled with amazing things like sunsets. And we as human beings are the place where heaven and earth meet. So as these little lightning rods that are drawing to us the energy in the universe, that are drawing up from the very soul of our planet, the recognition that we are earthlings and that this planet is valuable and matters, just breathe in that truth, that I am a center in this universe, and I am a center for good. I am a high and holy place where my thoughts are kind and respectful of this planet. That I recognize that I have the capacity to change the world through the use of my voice, through the use of my vote, through the use of the way that I am in community. And so from this moment on, we are thinking more globally. We are taking our individualized mind and putting it into a community that says, there's a lot of honoring that needs to be done, and I'm the middle of it. From there, I change the planet. I'm in charge of what I do, and I make a difference. And I am simply in gratitude for knowing that truth, and I recognize for each one here that our lives are turning towards the good, that we are becoming the good we are seeking, and that it is seeking us. We are blessed, and more importantly, we are a blessing. Let it be, and so it is. Thank you, beloveds.